BOON at the moment. Just going to quickly change the score as we watch the current splits coming out now.
And indeed, the game's going to get started in about 5 seconds. ILogic versus BOON. BOON up 1-0 in the set and one game away from their spot in the grand finals. The gates have opened up on Legacy of the Foefire. So let's open up our map and check out the splits.
Ooh, see that blue. I'm wondering how strong they're going to be pulling out here as soon as they know they actually had it pretty much in the bag after about 200 points. At the moment, we're looking at the Ranger versus the Guardian from Red Team. Roque, as they're going to be on this point for quite a while. Roque getting pushed back off the point, needs to try and stay in there as much as he physically can. There's a lot of play going on at the moment over in Waterfall. At the moment, you see TFL versus Held and Demon over here as well. And Taylor Swifts, we've got another 3-on-1 situation. We do see BOON Emperor coming in now onto the point, the Guardian for blue. I didn't really see much in the last match, to be honest, in many of the fights. Maybe just coming in for Resins, doing his support where he needed to. But he was very much around the map in the last match, just kind of getting in those spots where he needed to be. Once again, being on that far point and doing very, very well for his team. Sorry, close point, not far point. How dare I? Anyway, do see Fake just using that brand new finisher down on Forsaker as Fake as AFK, now taking the close point of Red over at Quarry. Mid-fight now, Sensitix moving over onto Taylor Swiftness as Naya is here as well. Naya's actually, since being in the places where he needs to be, it seems to be on those 1v1s where people are getting down low on health, so he's coming in quickly, I think.
So this is a bit of I wouldn't necessarily say copy, but this is somewhat of something that what the VOTF comp was doing a lot is starting a couple weeks ago, and like it really appeared on yesterday in the ESL Weekly Cup. We pointed out a lot. This is something they do is that they keep the team fight. Like the Bunker Guardian, for instance, they'll keep the team fight utilities over on the side nodes or wherever the most enemies are, wherever the big fights are, they'll keep it there. And then wherever there's less enemies and pressure, they'll keep their Spirit Ranger there because the Spirit Ranger is probably the strongest one person in terms of like 1v1 potential on the entire team. Now they are sacrificing like having the Spirit of Nature and whatnot in the fight because of that, but overall it does allow them to exercise a lot more support because they can have the Bunker Guardian over there. And as you know, the Bunker Guardian, you can basically hold on to a point indefinitely so long as your Bunker Guardian is alive.
That's it, exactly. Completely. Whoa, blue pulling out a free cap almost now.
Yeah.
Getting the waterfall. Wow, so strong, these guys. And even in these team fights, when they're being outnumbered, they're just getting the people around the map in time so they can pull out. Sensitix being the game changer, like you were saying, putting those utilities over on the side nodes more than anything. I'm just wondering, do you think they're going to go for a boss kill and just try and end this fast? Or what are they going to go for here? I mean, 100 points ahead, not even any points coming from ILogic at the moment. It's not as if they won the last game. It's just, they're getting completely destroyed here.
Yeah. So again, like I said, I think there is another experience gap coming into play here. Because BOON is somewhat of a preformed team. I have not seen ILogic play too much before. We saw them, what I believe at least, was their first or second appearance yesterday in the ESL Weekly Cup. Yeah. Whereas BOON has been playing for quite some time. Hasn't been always the highest placing team, granted, but they have started to make waves recently.
Yeah, they've really started to push as a team. I think with Sensitix as well, it seems like they've found their nice little setup at the moment. It feels like they're going to be one of these, like one of the newest up and coming kind of teams. But it's good. We're still seeing some nice little moves from ILogic at the moment. It's doing okay in the team fights, but there just seems to be that lack of damage and that lack of burst that's coming off onto BOON, and BOON are getting onto those points very well to actually support their team. Sensitix actually going down to Forsaker over on mid. Forsaker's definitely going to be rubbing that one in the near future. TFL currently bunkering over on Waterfall at the moment, so 220 to blue. Red very much in a very dark place at the moment.
Yeah, again, like I said here, the blue team is really starting to push themselves ahead. We give it like another minute and a half, and it's going to be pretty safe for us to call it GG just because of how much of a huge lead blue team would have at that point. Red team is looking to capture middle right now. They'll almost managed to get it. They got about half of it off, but blue team is just roaming around right now, really cleaning up shop pretty heavily.
One warrior as well, guys. Look at this. One warrior team doing this well. You do not need two warriors to be pulling off this kind of this kind of defeat, really, because at the moment, ILogic, they need to get kills to get us some points in this match. They maybe just push to the Lord, get 150. But fair play, so good at them to come into these tournaments. These are the kind of teams we need to push into our tournaments to get some experience to play these teams, because at the end of the day, it's going to give them the experience they need to get better. Because they're probably in team queues and TPVP, they're probably dominating quite well, unless when they come up to these teams. But 351, I think we're gonna.
They are pushing over towards Quarry right now, so I think they may want to rush Lord just to try and end it quicker.
Potentially.
We do see them. I think they might try to wipe here first and then push into the base. Is probably what we'll see happening.
Maybe.
That'll they'll just hold out over here until the end of the game, because again they are coming up to the 4-minute mark, or 400-point mark, not 4-minute mark.
Oh, maybe they go high score. Just gonna put something in here. So at the moment, guys, unless something completely crazy happens in this match, which I'm not sure it is. BOON are looking like they're going to be going against Cheese Mode, which is going to be a pretty damn good final. I'm not sure what is going to happen. There's no counter at the moment that I can see on their team, other than Necro, maybe Gengar, for Sensitix, in terms of mobility as well. I mean, Gengar can't get around the map like he can. But there's no Sizer on Cheese Mode.
From a mobility perspective, yeah, they do have that. From a counter perspective, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that too much, like crazy. Like they like so DP is very different than SD.
Okay.
DP is a lot easier to deal with in my opinion. You just have to kind of watch out, make sure you don't just basically you just have to not eat the direct damage from it. Compared to SD, where it's there's nothing I can do. I just have to try and get lucky with SD. Where it's DP is I'm coming right at you. You better have some defensive cooldown ready. And as long as you do have that defensive cooldown ready, you can counter it fairly.